I also have an ideal of a video game that you can have like a real world environment. Like you won't be running towards somewhere and then running to the end of the game. Like we call that the game wall or something. You know the game wall where you're running and then you just hit the game wall, and you can't run no more. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't make it a real, there's no more. Like it's not real. It's just a video game, right? Of course, but uh, for the information and stuff, though, if you were to want to make a video game and you didn't want to have these video game walls that you just run into and you can't go any further because of too much. The game has, is just too big or something, and you can't, too much information or something, and that's where you get glitches and all of that happening in the video game, or and it slows it down because it's just too big and too much information, and it can't do it. So my ideal for that is that you could make everything independent, separate from the actual what's happening with the character or whatever game that you're playing. Like you're the character and there's a radius around that character of the video game that it's in playing, where the surrounding area, right? And it only goes so far, and that's the stuff that is active in the video game. So everything that's happening, though, that isn't active in that, which will keep the game running smooth and not glitches and slowing down, is that everything is independent and it runs by itself. You know what I'm saying? So everything in that area around the character will only be playing. Everything else will still be the video game. When it comes into your area, then it will be activated into the video game, and the information and everything then that information will be the video game. What area you're in, what range that it gets to, everything else is separate and runs its course. You gotta set course for all of this stuff, like a real life. People go to sleep, they get up, they go to work. You gotta set course for all of this stuff, right? But it's all independent, it's all separate, it all works in a memory. You got a memory in the game, but what's only activated is the surrounding area of the character and what's actually happening in the game. Everything else is actually still playing, but it's totally separate from that. It's like in a memory, and it's just playing out that what it does. And then when you come into the area, when you get, once you run and you go in your area, becomes that, you go to that area, and then that becomes activated. So that information, and then the other information will now be in the memory, and it will still continue to be going how it's going, but it will now be separated from what's actually happening in the surrounding area of the character. So I think if you did that, I think that would allow you to make a video game like in a real world without video game walls. So you could just keep going, and it wouldn't slow down the video game. You wouldn't get glitches and all of that. I'm sure you'd have to work it out, though. You ain't figure it all out. Of course, I don't know if it's being done already or not, but that's my ideal, and, like training with new masters to get new abilities and stuff. Y'all can make these games out here to be more like life, like real life. You go around, you train with new masters, you see people and what they can do, and then you practice that stuff, and then you train. Of course, you train yourself, and you get stronger and you get better and you practice, and then you go out and then you fight, and then that also improves. You have to actually have actual combat to actually improve even more, you know what I mean? So it's all just how life is. You put that into a format of a video game, though, instead of just the same leveling up and taking forever for stuff, and make something like more realistic, man. Or like having these army games or something, like technology, the way technology is. And then you could advance and make new technology. You just got these games that are just set up, and you get to the end of the technology tree, and then that's it. Why can't you make something? Why don't you have an option to make something even new? This is a video game. It's not like real life. It's a video game. You can pretty much do whatever you want to do in a video game, right? So why is there an end of the tech tree? Why can't you keep progressing in your own way, or developing new things and having options to do so? You know what I'm saying? A video game doesn't always have to be all so like everything else. You know what I mean? Give people options and stuff to advance, or different ways of coming out in life, or building your bases, and what kind of army units you'll get, or what kind of technology you'll get, or how you make money, and everything. Just stuff is so not like that really anymore. So I don't know why they're still making these old video games, because life is not even like that. And video games shouldn't be like that, because life isn't like that. So I think a video game should be more like life. So you would be more into life also. I think if games were more like life, and then life, you go out here and you actually live life, and you're like, well, hey, this is actually like life. It's more entertaining, though, too, also. You get more things to do, and it's not just the end of something. What's the end of it? You should be able to continue like life. I know you want to make other video games, and you want to, you got people working jobs, and I mean, come on though. You gotta make some real cool games, man. You got all this stuff you can do, and these phone games, like on the maps, on these old war games or whatever, where they got these things. It takes forever, man. It takes like 2 days or something just to get from one place on the map to the other. To say you want to go attack some player or something, on the map, and it takes you like 2 or 3, 5, 10 days or something just to get over there. I mean, you should have some kind of option where you could like set up your soldiers on the field or something, like in real life, and do stuff, or set up ambushes for someone who's coming to attack your city or base or whatever, or just some new stuff, man. This stuff is so old. You just send your people and they go, and then they come back, either they won or they lost, or they're all dead or something. It's like, well, that sucks. You know what I mean? You can't even really do anything. You should be at least able to set your people up and attack from there, or send people to other cities that you have or so. You can't even like send people to other cities. It's like you can't do anything. It's like, what is this? You can't do anything? It's like, come on. How can you play a video game when you can't even do anything? You don't even have options that you should have You know, it's just simple, even just the simplest options to send like some people here to this city or that city, and it's like you don't even have that. It's like, why? Why don't you have that? It should be. You know, it's so ridiculous. You got to send them all the way back here to this city, and then you got to send them back to this, and then you're going to send them there. You know, you should just be able to send them for wherever they are. If they're in this city, you send them to this city, or send them to the camp, or send them on the field, or, you know, come on, man. This stuff is really just stupid, and y'all need to quit formatting these video games to death like you're doing, and make something new, man, and make something interesting and entertaining and options, you know.